Hey, good morning. It's time for another SaveNolaHeritage.org underground tricentennial moment. This is Jimmy Widell, a monument to him. So who was this guy, and why do we have him hidden, actually not underground, but under shrubbery, so nobody really knows who he is? Amazing monument. I want to thank the Monumental Task Committee for their tours. If you ever get a chance, I learned about this, even though I've driven by it 1,000 times. As to what's significant about this monument. This man in the 1930s, out of New Orleans, was building planes, and he himself was flying them, that held the world speed records for airfare. I mean, amazing competitions were going on in those days. Born in 1900, he died June 24th, 1934, in a crash, as most of these pioneers did. He built his own planes. Started out by taking a four-wheel bicycle and converting it into an airplane in the early 1910s. And then he lost an eye in a motorcycle crash, so he tried to fly in World War I as a pilot and was denied. But he ended up, he had a brief moment, as many people do, I guess, where he was crooked. He flew rum from Mexico to Texas for a while. He actually was born in Texas before he ended up in New Orleans. But then Huey Long, based on what this man was doing with aviation in New Orleans, ended up building Lakefront Airport. And he flew out of Lakefront Airport. Delgado, he worked with Delgado University a lot in their aviation programs. He had the records because what he used to do when Tulane would play Georgia Tech in those early days, his job was to get the photographs from Atlanta back to New Orleans and to the Times-Picayune so they could be in the paper for the next day of the sports section. And he flew all kinds of other places. He flew, they started flying from New Orleans to Jackson, and he also flew. All these competitions were going on around the country, trying to promote aviation, where you'd leave New York and you'd fly to LA and you'd fly there through Chicago and make all these stops. And he lost a lot of times. For about 10 years, he was always coming in the top 10, coming in second, third, eighth, but he never won. In the 1930s, though, he started making it. He figured out what he was doing wrong. And they were making those planes here in New Orleans, and he was winning. But unfortunately, early on June 24th, he died in a plane crash. His partners kept it up. So if you ever look up Jimmy Widell, it's a great story for this tricentennial to know about this. And why we don't honor this more, I'm perplexed, because I think it's a great tribute to aviation. Jimmy Widell, owning the speed records, building planes here, just did a lot for aviation. Huey Long helped him a lot because he recognized the talent. I want to say another underground moment here. And remember, SaveNolaHeritage.org, so we can keep these things alive, these monuments to our citizens who were taken down right now. Have a great Sunday.